Welcome to this short video on getting started with NCLDR. If you haven't already watched the What is NCLDR video, I suggest you start with that one. Here's a broad overview of how to get started with NCLDR. We start by downloading NCLDR and also downloading CLDR. From there we can build the NCLDR data file. Thereafter we can start using NCLDR either to create custom cultures or to use NCLDR extensions. I'll briefly introduce you to both of those things in this video, and they're covered more extensively in subsequent videos. Before we start, a word on some terminology. NCLDR is aimed at .NET developers rather than CLDR developers, so it uses .NET Framework terminology. So instead of using the CLDR word locale, we use the word culture. Instead of using the CLDR word territory, we use region. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to open up Internet Explorer and navigate to the GitHub repository for NCLDR. That's www.github.com/guysmith-ferrier/NCLDR, and we can see the options available to us here. I'm going to download the zip file. Let's just open that up, and this gives us a zip file of all the NCLDR source code files. Let's open that up, and we'll extract these out to a folder that I've created earlier. I've called the folder NCLDR. You can call it anything you like. Let's extract those files. Now with NCLDR downloaded, we can go away and download CLDR. We need the data files to make CLDR useful. So we get this from cldr.unicode.org/index/downloads. Now at the time of making this video, the current release of CLDR is 22.1. You can download any release from 22.1 onwards. So on the data column, we'll click on that link there. We can see three possible files to download. You need core.zip. So let's open that one up. So that's 5 megabytes worth of data there. So I've cut a bit of the video out to save you from waiting around. And there's the opened up zip file. I'm going to extract all of these files. Again, you can put them anywhere you like. I'm going to put them in my NCLDR folder. I'm going to make a new folder here. I'll call this CLDR, and beneath that I'll create one called core. And we can click on OK and extract the files. That will take a while. Okay, so to save you waiting around, I clipped a bit of the video there. Okay, so let's open up the NCLDR solution. There it is, ncldr.sln. Let's open that one up. I'll say yes to that one. And I'll go ahead and build the project. Wait for build successful at the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run one of the projects which is included with the solution. So if we just collapse all of that, we can see what we've got there. There's a couple of utilities that we're interested in. One is NCLDR Builder command and NCLDR Builder GUI. You pick whichever one you like. The GUI has a few more options that you might find more useful. I'm going to use the command tool for the moment just because it's simple. So I'm going to open up a command window move to the NCLDR folder, move to my source code, and move into the NCLDR builder command folder. Okay, so if we run NCLDR builder command, we get a tiny bit of help that tells us what we need to do. This utility is going to build the NCLDR data file. So it just asks for two parameters. The two parameters are where is CLDR and where do you want to put the NCLDR output file. So let's have a go at this. NCLDR builder command. The first parameter is the NCLDR path, which I put in NCLDR/CLDR. And the second parameter is the NCLDR path, which is where I want the output file to go, and that is in NCLDR/NCLDR-master, and then NCLDR. I'm going to put it in something called data. Let me just go away and create that folder right now. NCLDR data. Okay, let's run the tool. Now you can see it's giving a small amount of progress information there. It's adding in the 656 cultures and all the additional data, and then it goes away and writes out the DAT file. We're done, and you can now start using NCLDR. Let's just go away and take a look to see what it created. There's the DAT file. You can see it's 11 meg big, which is quite large. In a subsequent video, what we'll do is look at how you can slice and dice that file so you can include either fewer cultures or less information about the cultures, and you can bring it down to a very tiny size. But that's the largest possible file you can get. Okay, so let's see what we can get out of that. The first place that you might want to look at is the NCLDR Explorer. Let me set this as the startup project, and then we'll run this. First of all, we need to load up the data file. So we put in the location of the DAT file. Mine was NCLDR/master/NCLDR data, and then click on load NCLDR data file. The amount of time that it takes here to load is dependent upon the size of the file. As I said a moment ago, you can decrease the size of the file. And these are all of the NCLDR cultures. Let's pick this culture here, and we can browse through all of the data that CLDR provides. Let's pick that's Arabic, and you can browse through the data to your heart's content. You might also like to look at the .NET comparison page. We can see the number of cultures that .NET provides and the number of cultures that NCLDR provides. And here's a tab that allows you to create custom cultures. I'll go into this a bit further in a subsequent video because there are a few things to think about there. Okay, so that's a look at the data that we've got. Let's actually use NCLDR in a new application. So let's start my new application here. I'll create a console application. I'll call it NCLDR demo. So first of all, what I'll start by doing is iterating through all of the cultures that the .NET framework has. Add the globalization namespace there. So for each culture info in all of the cultures which are specific, so that's a language in a country or region, what I'll do is just simply show the culture's name. And you shouldn't be at all surprised to see that what we get out of this is a list of all the cultures. Well, that's fascinating, and that doesn't really have much to do with NCLDR. So let's make use of NCLDR. Now what I could do here is I could go to the references and add references to the NCLDR assemblies. It's actually a lot simpler than that. We can install the NCLDR package. I'm using the console interface, and I'm going to say install package NCLDR. Now at this moment in time this is a pre-release, so we need to add the pre-command line parameter. So that's the package installed. What this has actually done here is it added in these two assemblies, NCLDR and NCLDR extensions. So to use NCLDR, first thing that we need to do is load up the data file. So let's take a class here called the NCLDR loader. And this has an NCLDR data path like the one that I entered just a moment ago. There's the path to my data file. I need to load this data. NCLDR needs to be assigned the data. So let's take that's the property to which we assign the raw data, and we can get this from the NCLDR loader. Now this process has been completely abstracted, so if you don't want to load the data this way, you want to load it dynamically, then that's fine. Okay. At this point I can now make use of NCLDR. The simplest way to do this is with extension methods through the culture info class. So let's add in a new namespace in here. NCLDR extensions. And what I'll do is I'll just reformat this line. So we've got a string.format, so I can pass in a couple of parameters. The second parameter here is cultureinfo.get postcode regex. What I want to do here is list each and every culture that the .NET framework already knows about, and a regular expression for validating a postcode, which is some of the data that comes with CLDR. So let's run this now. And you can see that we have a listing of every culture with a postal code regular expression. A very long list there. Of course, I've only listed the cultures of which the .NET framework is aware. You don't have to be restricted to those cultures. You can use different methods for accessing cultures which the .NET framework doesn't know anything about, or alternatively, you can add custom cultures for those cultures. So that concludes this video. Here are a few other videos that you might like to look at to get up to speed with more features in NCLDR. Thank you for watching.